Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. I just did Rogue pretty recently, so it's between Warlock and Hunter, and I have one more Warlock video than Hunter video on my channel, and they were pretty recently done, so we're gonna go ahead and do Hunter here to balance it out, trying to get a nice mix of all the classes. Well, we're starting off with a rare, as is so often the case, and I'm just going to go ahead and take the Injured Blade Mastery. It's not fancy, it's not schmancy, it's not razzly bedazzly, but it's a 4/3 for 3 mana, and that's more than I can say for these two weirdo cards. Nice drop onto the board. Here, I think the pick is pretty straightforward. Explosive Shot is good because hunters don't get too much straightforward removal. A lot of their removal is a bit wacky or conditional, so it's nice to have an unconditional bit of removal in the deck. Okay, do I want 2 of them? Yeah, I'll take 2 explosive shots. I'm not going to take 3, that's getting expensive, but I'll take 2 of them because it's not just single target removal, it is multi-target, so I'll be happy to play 2 over those kind of weirdo cards. Alright, this is an important point in the draft because if you want to go for aggro, and really dedicate yourself to that strategy, then the Abusive Sergeant's definitely the card to pick here. Otherwise, I think you got to give it to the Panther. Now, obviously, the Scarlet Crusader is a better card than the Panther, but I am a hunter, so they're both... I don't like the Panther very much, but they're both playable onto an empty field. They're both alright. And since it's a beast, you got to give preference to beasts as hunter when you can. In fact, I am going to go ahead and do that to have at least some base for beasts in my deck. Now, these are all reasonable cards. The Shadowstone Cleric, of course, just being awesome. The Earth Ring Farseer, not only is healing really good, but a 3/3 for 3 is good. And it's a super good combo with the Injured Blade Master, making him into a 4/6, provided he can survive a turn. Or if, it's turn 6 and you can play them both right away. But then there's Multi-Shot. Multi-Shot is a card that I want to have at least one of in the deck. So the question is, do I pass over these prime 3-drops to take Multi-Shot, and then risk having Multi-Shot come up later, where the other 2 cards alongside it are bad, so now I've got 2 copies of this conditional removal, and I'm unhappy about it? Or do I risk taking one of these premier cards and never seeing Multi-Shot again? Well, Multi-Shot's been good for me, so I'm going to take it here, but not without some reservations. Okay, I could take this as a beast, but it's just such a bad card. I'm going to take Silver Moon Guardian, very solid and dependable 4-drop. Same thing going here with the Dark Iron Dwarf. It's not dependable necessarily, there are times when you can't play it, but I don't mind it there. Okay, Questing Adventure is a bit touch and go. I'm going to take the Sun Fury Protector here. It's a 2/3 for 2, not the greatest, but sometimes the Battle Cry is really, really good, so it's nice to have around. Okay, so I can take a Starving Buzzard, and you know what? Fuck it, I'm not gonna. This card, I played with it since the patch. Now that it's at 1 health, it's just so obnoxious, and it's really difficult to get up enough beasts in your deck that you can actually make it worthwhile. So I'm not even really going to bother unless it's like in a trash pack. So I can either grab Silence here, or I can grab a good 1-drop. And I'll go ahead and grab Silence. Hunters aren't as good with removal. They don't have any single-click removal like Hex or Polymorph or Assassinate, so the Silence is a little bit more useful for them than perhaps it is for some other classes. Easy epic choice here. Sea Giant... We'll have to do a little bit of a thought experiment to see. I'm not sure there's any epic in the game that I think is correct to take over a Sea Giant. Now, obviously, if you're drafting a deck and you have a lot of really big cards already, yada yada, for mana curve reasons, you might not take it. But I'm going to put this out there as a potential idea. Please challenge me in the comments if you disagree. In a vacuum, like pack 1, pick 1, I don't think there's a single epic in the game you should take over Sea Giant. Not even any of the class-specific epics. I just think it's that good. Okay, so here... the Houndmaster is tempting, but I don't like the fact that there's only 1 beast to put this on. I do say don't dismiss the value of 2 card interactions, but that assumes that both cards are good on their own. The Houndmaster certainly isn't. So I'm going to take Tundra Rhino, adds an extra beast to my deck, and a good one, and letting your beast have charge is potentially spectacular. Another Houndmaster? Okay, so here's where we have kind of an awkward situation. I'm not a fan of Snipe. I don't think it's a very good card, but I'm a little bit heavy on these 4-drops, so my curve is going to suffer if I take another 4-drop. Well, we'll take the No Mission... geez, hang on a minute. I'll take a Houndmaster. I've got a few beasts. I have a Panther already. I have a Rhino. Hopefully we'll have some more, so we'll risk it here. I really just don't want to take the Snipe. Okay, Animal Companion is a card I will take pretty much every single time it comes up, and we do need some 3-drops. Well, here's what I was afraid of. We got a multi-shot here that I definitely don't want to take. So we're going to go for the end game here. We'll make this a little bit of a slower deck. We'll grab the Windfury Harpy. And no, I don't want, a 2/7 beast. That's just dumb. Okay, so Raid Leader, I've said this before, buffs are good, even bad buffs are still buffs, and they're tempting for that reason, but I'm not going to pass on Arcane Shot. It kills a lot of important early drops, and is just good to have around in general. Okay, so here I'm going to take Senjin. Now you might say, well, Boris, why are you doing that when it's, you already have this spike here? And I'll tell you why that is. If I'm at 5 mana, I would still rather play a Senjin over the Booty Bay Bodyguard. That is how good the Senjin is. It's just, like, even at 5 mana, I would rather pay 4 to get a Senjin down and have 1 mana left over than pay all 5 to drop a Booty Bay Bodyguard in most cases. Now, yes, there are times when the Booty Bay is really great. The Booty Bay is great when your opponent has a bigger drop and is forced to attack into this guy where the extra damage matters a lot. For example, like a classic example would be like if your opponent has a fire elemental. Then it's really frustrating with that 6/5 staring down a 5/4 taunt. But most of the time, the extra health in this engine matters a lot more than the extra 2 damage of the Booty Bay Bodyguard. So I'm just going to take this engine here for that reason. Okay, I don't want another Houndmaster, so it looks like we're taking Voodoo Doctor. Sometimes he'll go on turn 1, sometimes he'll heal me, and sometimes, who knows, if we're lucky, he might even heal this injured Blade Master. That's what it's going to be. I don't want another Spellbreaker, and I don't want another Voodoo Doctor, so a second Arcane Shot it is. Explosive Trap. I do like Acolyte of Pain, but Explosive Trap is a phenomenal card. It's a little bit conditional, but also very, very good. Okay, so here we've got a choice. I can take Azure Drake, which is probably the better card in the abstract, or I could take Knife Juggler because my curve is a little bit wacky right now. I have a single 1-drop, a single 2-drop, and we're going into the last third of the draft. So it's a bit risky to take this thing. On the other hand, I only have 1 5-drop, so the explosive shots don't really count. This bump is misleading. I'm going to grab the Azure Drake. I don't have any card draw here. The spell damage could help me. Deadly Shot. Need this card. It's important to have at least one of in your deck for certain tricky situations. Interesting choice here. Definitely not taking a third Arcane Shot. I need more creatures. So do I take the Animal Companion, which is stronger but random, or this, which I know what it is? Both are beasts. I'm going to take Animal Companion, but I admit sometimes the randomness may screw me over. Do I take another Deadly Shot? I do, over another 4-drop. 4 drops is the one thing I don't need. Stop giving them to me, Hearthstone. I need 2 drops. Okay, perfect. This is exactly what I need. I need 2 drops that I can play early in the game, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. Okay, so Flesh-Eating Ghoul is definitely the best card here, but I have to give my curve some consideration. So what are our actual 3 drops? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 drops, we have 1, and then 2 drops, we have 2. Oh, man. So for curve reasons, the Leper Gnome is tempting. And the Freezing Trap actually is also a solid card. There have been many a time when I've wished I had a Freezing Trap. You know what? I don't like either one of these for curve reasons. And well, I don't like the Leper Gnome just because it's a Leper Gnome. I don't like the Flesh-Eating Ghoul because I don't need more 3-drops, I don't think. Well, I've got 4 of them. I guess I could use another one. It just feels bad to take another 3-drop when I really want our earlier plays. We'll take the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. That's where my instincts lie, so we'll trust them. Well, okay. Guess as we're getting a Leper Gnome now. Boy, I would love to get a 2-drop of some sort, but this deck is just not having it. I could take Tracking as basically a cycling sort of card. We'll do it. I just don't want any more 4-drops, although the Dragonling mechanic is fine. My curve is such a problem. And Unleash the Hounds, oh my god. I don't know. I mean, it's a card I've wanted to try, but right now my deck just wants 2-drops. So why can this draft not give me 2 mana creatures? I passed on that Knife Juggler to take an Azure Drake, and then that was it. Oh, boy. Well, I don't have anything to combo with Unleash the Hounds. No Scavenging Hyenas, no Buzzards. No Cult Master. I mean, any synergy I can think of with this card, I don't have. I guess Flesh-Eating Ghoul, kind of. So, since there's no synergy with it, I think it's not a good card on its own. I'm not going to go for it. We'll take another Tundra Rhino here. Oh, Jesus. What is going on? Am I going to play the Tundra Rhino deck? 2 Deadly Shots is fine. I don't want any more. I don't want this Unleash the Hounds in this deck. It just doesn't seem right. I didn't take a Raid Leader. That would have been good with them. But, oh, man alive. What is going on? I guess Unleash the Hounds plus Sea Giant? No, that's really never going to work. That's never going to work. No. Okay. I don't know what to do here. I'm at a loss. I guess we'll take Unleash the Hounds just for the novelty, but I don't feel good about that at all. And we're getting a 3-drop here, where we'll take the only playable one. This draft really screwed me kind of hard. It didn't give me any 2-drops. Like, I never saw any Amani Berserkers. I never saw any Fairy Dragons. So that's like 2 important 2-drops that I just never saw. Never saw any Scavenging Hyenas. Saw 1 Buzzard, and I think not taking it was totally justified because there was a good card there. And then that was it. I took a Sun Fury Protector somewhat aggressively early on, and thank God, because otherwise I don't have any early plays. So this deck is not my favorite. Up against Beck the Shaman, I feel like that's familiar, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty much always going to want to go second with this deck, because that way I can coin out my 3-drops, at least have a goodly number of those. Yeah, so like it's really good that I'm second here, because I can, you know, play the Animal Companion on turn 2 with the coin, and then play the Blood Knight on turn 3 without the coin. Oh boy, well this draft was a tough one. We'll see how far we can get. I'm not expecting anything great, but I will always be willing to be pleasantly surprised. Stone Tusk Boar, okay. Well, that's good, so my opponent's playing with at least one terrible card, and he must have just drawn it as his turn 2 draw, because otherwise he would have played it on turn 1 if he'd already had it. Let's go ahead and coin out the Animal Companion here. There's always a chance he'll play a Scarlet Crusader or something and give the Blood Knight something to suck up. There is a Silver Moon Guardian here. I am not going to pass on playing a Blood Knight just so I can play this and then hope that I can steal the Divine Shield the following turn. That's just way too touch and go. Especially with Shamans rocking Hexes. That's just really kind of silly. Okay, so the Flesh Eating Ghoul makes me very sad that got the LEOKK of all the cards here, because this will die to the Flesh Eating Ghoul, unfortunately. And then the Flesh Eating Ghoul is also going to kill one of my other creatures. This is, oh man, this is really irritating. Well, that's the problem with Animal Companion. Had this been like an Ironfur Grizzly, it would have been a different story. So now, I think I'm screwed. I just have to accept that Flesh Eating Ghoul is going to get 2 kills. I suppose it's not the end of the world, because he went down a card with that Stone Tusk Boar, so the fact that he's getting 2 kills off the Ghoul is just sort of a catch-up thing. But man, that's annoying. Now there is a chance he'll be able to play multi-shot. I have to consider this. If he doesn't play an impressive 4-drop, multi-shot will kill off the Ghoul plus whatever else he might throw down. So I have to hold out that hope. If he plays like a Chillwind Yeti or something, then yeah, it's no good. He's hovering. I guess it's not a Chillwind Yeti. You'd think that's something he would just slam down without hesitation. So it seems like it's something not that great. Cult Master. Oh no! My opponent makes a terrible mistake. You don't want to let you don't want to let your opponent keep creatures when you can get a kill for free. This is a new player. I'm almost certain. I'm almost certain this is a totally new player. Can I play Unleash the Hounds here? No, we're just gonna multi-shot, get both kills there. So yeah, this is a newer player. I really don't think anyone with a decent amount of experience would have forgone getting a free kill on your opponent's creature with your own creature. No matter how aggressive of a deck you're playing, you should always get those kills. So maybe my opponent didn't do that because he wanted to use the Kodo to get the kill. Well, alright, if he wants to play that way, he can play that way. Is this worth deadly shotting? I don't think it is, actually. I think I'd rather just play the Silver Moon Guardian. And we're going to swing for 3 damage. So now he can go ahead and use the Kodo to kill the Blood Knight, but then I'll be able to use the Divine Shield to finish the Kodo off. And we'll be in good shape. He's going to attack twice. Well, that actually doesn't really change anything. I can still use the Divine Shield to finish the Kodo off, and then also be threatening to trade with the Windspeaker. He actually volunteered. Well, I guess that makes a certain kind of sense. I won't hold that play against him, doing the volunteering trade, because who knows, I might have like made it worse somehow. Anyway, let's go ahead and think about whether we want to be greedy or not. So greedy would be killing the healing totem and hoping I can still trade into the Windspeaker later. Because I'm planning to play the Wind Fairy Harpy, I don't want this Windspeaker alive. I don't want it getting buffed by Dark Iron Dwarf. So, is there any other move I could make? I could make the Blade Master, but then I don't have anything to do with 3 mana. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and trade. And we're going to remember Kel'Thuzad and drop a Wind Fairy Harpy. So now if my opponent has a Hex, he really should use it against this creature, otherwise it's going to go to town on his stuff. Or his face. I mean, I can get him down to 11 if he lets me swing. Then my Steady Shot will pretty much kill. Steady Shot, Explosive Trap, and Arcane Shot are pretty much going to give me the kill at that point. So he doesn't flip a taunt. I get a little bit lucky, I suppose, that he didn't flip a taunt for 2 totems. I want a coin flip there, essentially. But he did pass up a chance to kill LEOKK with a Flesh-Eating Ghoul earlier, which cost him a fair amount of health. Unbound Elemental. Alright. So you have something for 2 mana? And a Stormforged Axe. I see. So that was a decent move. Now the Unbound Elemental plus the Axe will kill off my Wind Fury Harpy. Alright, well, here is where we start to go for the kill. I'm gonna swing. He shouldn't be able to kill me with a Bloodlust. He's only going to have 4 plus, 9 is 13, 15 damage. I'm a ways away. We're definitely going to do this. And the question is, do I drop a Spellbreaker and silence this thing? Or do I lay an Explosive Trap? Unleash the Hounds actually would deal another 3 damage to him. I should really be considering that. But we'll save that for now. I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. More for the body than for anything else. So basically now I'm threatening the kill. He has to address that. It's very unlikely he can kill me. Although I suppose they're like Wind Fury plus Bloodlust. No, that's just not going to be enough. Flamesong Totem plus Bloodlust, is that enough to get the kill? I don't think it is. If he had Bloodlust, this would be what? 5, 7, 7 plus 9 is 16. He could have done 18 damage to me. And he finally flips the taunt, which is to be expected. I mean, that was bound to come up at some point. And he's going to swing at my face. Which makes sense. And keep on swinging. Alright. So now I'm going to go ahead and lay the Explosive Trap. This will kill off his totems and present a lot of damage to me. I'm also going to Steady Shot him, but first we'll see what this Animal Companion is before I make any commitments. It's a LEOKK. Oh my gosh, could I have one with Unleash the Hounds? That would have given me 4 of them. Yeah, no, it's fine. So we're going to go ahead and Steady Shot. And Arcane Shot actually does more damage if I use it on this Taunt Totem, because it allows the Spellbreaker to swing for 5, as opposed to dealing 2 to the face, which is what Arcane Shot did by itself. So now, okay, so, sorry, I miscalculated that a little bit. I didn't quite commentate that correctly, but the gist of it is, if he attacks me, he dies. And that's a well played. Okay, so it was a good game. Shows what I really like about the Hunter class, is this hero ability, although it doesn't impact the board, and in a sense makes you weaker during the game, is nice because it can give you your arm, though, that few extra inches as you're reaching for the finish line. Alright, so that was a good start, but that was a new player. I could tell because he didn't kill one of my creatures. Now, then he ended up playing a Stampeding Kodo, but even if you're holding a Stampeding Kodo, I think you should still always get a free kill on your opponent's creature. If, you can kill their thing, and your thing lives, you should kill their thing, which is a very articulate way of making my point there. Anyway, Silvermoon Guardian, by the way, was the MVP. He brought down the Kodo and a Windspeaker all by himself. Now, had my opponent attacked me with his Kodo, he could have dealt 3 extra damage, but he still would have needed another 6 up on top of that, and that's assuming he had a Bloodlust. Arrowlance, second Shaman in a row. I feel like people have been watching my old videos where I used to rave about how good Shamans are. Not anymore, folks. Not anymore. This is not my favorite class anymore. We're going to go ahead and mulligan like this. The reason for that is I've got a turn 1 play. So turn 1 Voodoo Doctor, turn 2 Injured Blade Master. Oh shoot, I didn't do this right. I'm sorry, I should have mulliganed this Silvermoon Guardian. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, yeah. I should have mulliganed the Silvermoon Guardian because I have this on turn 1. If I coin this on turn 2, I have nothing on turn 3, so I should have mulliganed this to search for my earlier drops. Luckily for me, I got one of my very, very few 2-drops. It's a little bit sad that the Voodoo Doctor is going to die and enrage the Berserker. However, it's a little bit fortunate that I have the Murloc Tidehunter, because if my opponent doesn't have like a Forked Lightning, let's say, the little scout will be ready to finish off the Berserker if the Berserker enrages himself against one of my 2/1s. So the question is he going to play Forked Lightning? Even if he does, it's not the end of the world. I can coin out the Silvermoon Guardian, and then that will also be a threat for the Money Berserker. Oh no, that's not good. That is not good. So the Feral Spirit is really amazing for my opponent here, because these spirits are going to mop up my board, and they're also stopping me from killing off the Money Berserker. Okay, well, here I have to choose between the Blade Master or the Panther. So the Blade Master will just die to the Money Berserker, so the Money Berserker essentially gets to be a 2-for-1 for my opponent, and that's sad. And then he goes even further ahead on top of that when these Feral Spirits kill off my little stuff. God, this Feral Spirit is so good. Well, I'm going to play the Panther then. So here, do I voluntarily 2-for-1 myself against these? No. My plan is I'm going to coin out an Explosive Shot, and I hope I'm going to be able to kill all this stuff. That is the plan. So, yep, that's how we're going to run it, folks. Let's end the turn and hope for the best. Wow, my opponent had a pretty good start there. Money Berserker into Feral Spirit is difficult to contend with. So he's going to get a totem. I don't really care what this totem is at all. It goes over here, so it's not going to mess with my explosive shot, which is nice. Alright. So explosive shot. You know, explosive trap would be even better, actually. That would have been way better. But we'll settle for this. So I'm spending 5 mana to knock off 2 of his cards. 3 if you count what's on the board. And we're going to kill off that spell damage totem. You don't want to let shamans keep that around. So yeah. That was the move. Interestingly, I could have played a Sea Giant, couldn't I? I think it was more important to clear him off than to play the Giant. Here's where the Panther shows how much it sucks. Oh, man. I'm just going to have to trade for the Bear. That's pretty much it. So we're going to do this. And think, if I play the Blade Master, I can also Steady Shot. Whereas if I play the Silver Moon Guardian, the Divine Shield just gets popped by the 1/1. Yeah, so okay. That was kind of an easy choice. Sad that I've already used up my Voodoo Doctor, so this was just going to be a vanilla 4/3. But if he makes a creature and plays a totem, I could actually play the Sea Giant next turn. It's possible. Fire Elemental could drop down right now. That would be unfortunate, because then Deadly Shot can't kill it. I can't play Sea Giant. That would just suck a lot of dongs. And Shamans should be drafting every single Fire Elemental they see. Oh my god, I'm so happy to see that Hex. That's awesome. Way better than Fire Elemental. Okie doke. Alas, no Sea Giant for Boris just now, but we will play the Silver Moon Guardian here. And I think I'm going to Arcane Shots this Raid Leader. So yeah, he gets to pop the Divine Shield with his totem. That sucks, but worse things have happened. Here is the Houndmaster. I've got a few charging rhinos that are in here, so if they can come up and survive a turn, that would be great. This is actually very irritating. It holds up nicely against the Silver Moon Guardian. He has another Hex. Okay, well that's all a moot point. I still can't play the Sea Giant because he didn't make a totem. He needed to make a totem for me to be able to play this thing out. And Deadly Shot's obviously terrible. This is obviously terrible. I mean, I could play it. It holds up well, but we'll play the Wind Fury Harpy since I did just draw it. And okay. The game is not going quite as swimmingly as my last anti-shaman game, mostly because this one had 2 hexes from my stuff. And a really good start. Amani Berserker into Feral Spirit is what all shamans dream of. So, buddy, do you have a 3rd hex? You have a Knife Juggler. Well, that's close. Oh no, not Lord of the Arena! Oh, jeez. Well, this is one time when that card is good. It makes the Wind Fury Harpy look extremely stupid. Fuck me. I need to play Unleash the Hounds. Wow. This is going to be kind of good. So I play Unleash the Hounds. Let's get 4 of them. That makes the Sea Giant cost 1 mana. I can actually play the Houndmaster here, which would, if I'm not mistaken, make the Sea Giant cost 0 mana. And there's still room on my board for 1 more creature, so let's do that. Let's then play the Sea Giant. Okay. So, first order of business, we got to get past this Lord of the Arena. So we're going to do that, that, and that. Unfortunately, the Harpy will die, killing the Knife Juggler and the Gnomish Inventor. But it will survive, killing the Knife Juggler. And I'm just going to go ahead and attack. I'm pretty sure this Gnomish Inventor is destined for that Harpy, so we'll use the other Hound to kill off the Searing Totem. That was insane. I'm glad I caught that. I'm pretty sure that was the best move I had available. It used up everything in my hand in a wonderful synergy. That was just a beautiful moment, actually. It kind of makes me a little teary-eyed, folks. How beautiful that was. Unleash the Hounds with the Houndmaster and then the free Sea Giant. That was, well, that was, dare I say, epic. Okay, so my opponent does get the kill, so I get the free extra 4 damage on. Funnily enough, at the end of the day, he's actually still doing fine. He's got 4 cards to my 2. So I'm really counting on these 2 cards being good, but as soon as another Hex shows up, or even a Fire Elemental, honestly, I'm pretty screwed.
Feel the power.
Okay, so he's dropping everything down. We have a very important decision to make here, whether we race or whether we go to the face. Those are actually both the same thing. Okay, so this guy will die to either one of these creatures. The question is, am I afraid of him killing me next turn? So he's currently got 6, 7, plus 3, 10 damage. Let's imagine he plays Bloodlust. This guy would swing for 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 4 is 22. If he has the Bloodlust, he wins. I cannot let him keep all of the creatures around. But if I do play this Unfree Protector, my guys will have Taunt. He's going to need Bloodlust, which is half of his mana, and then some Silences to really get through my stuff. Alright, we're going to go for it. I think this is the right move. I'm going to go for the face, because now we're just a few turns away from winning. 4 turns with the hero ability. And then the Sun Fury Protector gives my guys Taunt, so it's difficult for him to push damage through. Now, Deadly Shot, sadly, is a little bit useless here. But I believe I have another Arcane Shot, which would speed up my clock, and an Explosive Trap, which speeds up my clock. And I have like 2 or 3 Charging Rhinos, which also deal an extra 2 damage. He's actually going to pass the turn by conceding. That's not passing the turn at all, that is conceding. So yeah, there were some things he could have had that would have let him win, but he used his Hexes early, and he didn't have them late. And that is that. So, good game there against the Shaman, whose name I already forgot. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking it and or subscribing to my channel. I have lots more videos here with arena action. And if you want to know how this one ends, then stay tuned, because I'm going to be posting the rest of the games shortly. I'll see you in just a bit.